Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, entering the stage is Ace the Trouble Man at 30 pounds. 30 pounds over there to kilos. At 30 pounds dry. It's Ace, Trouble Man himself. Welcome back, brother. Welcome back.
Mercedes are looking like the real deal.
They are the real deal.
They are
not
the real
looking like they are the real deal.
Nah, I expected us to look strong. We do. And by us, I'm talking about Ferrari. I also expected Mercedes to be somewhere in the picture, but not the way they are, because they are well head and shoulders above the rest.
Facts.
This is how you become the villain of the sport. Because I don't know if you guys have been seeing, George Russell was like, everybody wants to be selfish with the advantage. And these guys have the biggest advantage on the grid.
Mercedes, villain of the sport?
Hey, Sai Manze, they are wearing that villain cape with pride.
Yeah.
With pride.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll ever get labeled.
You saw how Toto was smiling. That is just the perfect clip of far.
Hey.
Unajua,
I don't know if you got the memo. We are no longer calling Toto here. It's called Schrödinger.
Hey, where did that come from?
Eh?
Yes, when did this start?
Oh, you didn't get the memo?
No.
You know you're calling the Mercedes engine, I don't know, Schrödinger's engine.
Schrödinger's PU, yeah. It's legal and illegal at the same time. And we're naming him after, I think he was an Austrian scientist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mercedes does have some Austrian roots, because Germany and Austria, they're just next to each other.
Mercedes ama ni Toto?
Even Toto, is it Toto who has Austrian roots?
We don't care.
Okay.
He's Schrödinger from today on.
Anyway, Schrödinger, we are calling him Schrödinger. Okay, fine. We're going with that name. But these guys are looking really strong.
Yeah.
They're looking really strong. And we knew they were sandbagging from testing. There were reports they were sandbagging. They didn't want to show their full potential.
So there was a guy I was reading who was doing the analysis of the Chinese Grand Prix, and he was checking where Ferrari are fast and where Mercedes are fast. So at the apex of the corner, the Ferrari is fast. Like
that was also at Melbourne. The case at Melbourne as well.
But
I think even Bahrain.
But the advantage where comes from, especially for Mercedes, is how they accelerate out of the corner.
And that's what we're trying to say.
The acceleration out of the corner, unlike other people, maybe if they try, they could not. The car is not even maybe stable enough. So when they're accelerating out of the corner, that is where they are beating the Ferraris. So somehow it helps them not to chew their tires as such when they choose to accelerate out of the corner. But
let me just look like this. If Formula One was...
Because if you have a higher speed at the apex, it means you're using more tires.
If you have downforce, you can look after the tires.
If you have a high...
What chews the tires is when you have understeer.
Sliding.
At the corners. Yes. Accelerate, because when you're accelerating, that's load on the rear tire. Okay. We've hardly seen anyone complaining about the rear tires going off. It's always the front tire.
Maybe Alonso.
Because of cornering.
Yes, because of cornering, yeah.
So from this, they said is the acceleration out of the corner is where Mercedes has the advantage. And it is able to reach a higher top speed faster than a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So during continuous laps, that's where...
But that's not from 0 to whatever. That's when they're already now... everything is now, they've already started and everything.
Most corners, you're above 50 kilometers an hour. Yeah. So you're already using the energy, the battery accelerating out of the corner. Yeah. Ferrari and Mercedes, all that you need.
Yeah. Hey. I told you a few days ago, I have a crazy hypothesis on whatever is making Schrödinger's PU special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I recently learned that when you're accelerating out of the corner, you can actually recharge the battery.
So full throttle. So it's sort of
accelerating
out of the corner.
Yes, you can run the MGK against the internal combustion engine until 210 kilometers per hour.
Sort of a traction control.
Yes, it is.
You guys are crying right now. Mercedes, you are doing nee. I'm telling you, the tears have just begun. You are in for a long ride. You are in for a long ride. You see somebody like Toto or Mercedes who have dominated. Then they have been ousted from that seat. And then they are coming back. Those are guys who are coming back to stay there for a while. And one of the reasons why I'm saying this is this. when it comes to like cheating or playing with borderline breaking or following the rules, the Mercedes boys, they were always clear. They were like following everything to the letter. But after what happened with Mercedes, with Red Bull winning, and then with McLaren winning with their engines, now they are
guys winning, skirting the rules.
Now they are coming. Now they are even better than everybody else with playing with the rules. Because Babu, they have seen what everybody has done, and then to make matters worse, where have you had somebody supplying the engine and not winning, and whoever is being supplied the engine, they are winning? It has never happened.
24 and 25 was.
It's a shame. It's a big shame. How do you explain to the investors? Like we made this engine, we gave these people, and they are winning the championship, and us we are not. So it means there's nothing wrong with the engine.
The championship.
The engine can win the championship. So with that kind of shame, you make sure anybody who has your engine can never finish ahead of you.
I have a take. Sijui ni hot take ama ni nini, but I came to realization. I came to a dooming realization. You know, Mercedes weren't exclusively in the sport for long. After a certain crash happened back in the 50s.
Yeah, 50s.
If Mercedes,
but the engines were present.
Right now, they are the third most successful team in Formula One. If they stayed all through all those years, I kind of see a reality where they would have been the most successful team in Formula One.
Yeah,
Mercedes are just built different. Like these guys, they're not like how Batishi. Like they are a serious threat. Like if you're going against Mercedes, my guy,
they were beaten in 20 and 21. So
end of regs.
They're beatable.
Yeah, they're beatable. Yes,
beatable.
Yes, they are beatable.
But they are best in class.
By the time you see how Ferrari are saying that Mercedes wanaweza kuwa wakona, they are still holding. I don't doubt them.
I actually believe them. When Mercedes announced themselves that tunarudi back into the sport, guys like akina Ferrari walikuwa tu like, nah, fuck this.
They're beatable. We've seen 20, we've seen 21. The fight being taken to them. And I'm not even counting the ground effector because they are not the masters when it comes to aerodynamics. They're the masters when it comes to power units. And unfortunately, this is a power unit regulation set.
And that's why I'm asking, when is it ending? Because if it's staying for 7 years, Mbaya.
We have a duo. Please.
A duo.
If I do your thing, man.
That I'm also waiting for that. I'm actually hoping we are below 4%.
Walisema watai July. Was it July?
1st June.
Nothing will happen by the.
Toto is paying somebody.
Something cold.
I don't like the only way unaweza in terms of regulation is that a duo, because if you look at how you test it, unless you invent a new way of testing it. You have to invent a new way that doesn't exist at the moment.
So are we having a similar situation to last year?
The only thing FIA are going to do are going to, like, as I said, the Aduo thing, it should help you. Whoever is complaining, Aduo should help you. And if you think it is the compression ratio, build yours with compression with the way Mercedes are building. Because if it becomes impossible to enforce that rule, itabidi mse you do your thing. But if you are a team right now and you're not thinking like that, by the time June comes to say, now I'm starting to develop, because I think Ferrari are already developing an illegal engine.
Factory things are running back behind the scenes in Maranello.
How can they begin development and they haven't been granted?
See, they are looking at that Aduo thing.
It hasn't been granted, so they are doing nothing at the moment.
Everybody is doing something. Every works is doing something behind the scenes right now.
It has been proven. So long as you can't prove about that,
every works team say.
If you can't prove about that compression ratio, then you are clean.
Yes, they're thinking about it, but they are yet to. I honestly think until they get that approval from FIA, they are not going to put like massive.
You wait for FIA approval. That's where Mercedes is beating everybody.
And wait. But you see, remember when Fred said expected? Fred is banking on that.
Banking on
them getting that one opportunity to upgrade.
Yes, they're banking on it, and that's why they are saying Mercedes are holding back. FIA is saying they have their own ways of testing, including looking at the customer team. But Mercedes, who they are, I know there's a mode. Maybe you activated by pressing this button and this button and this button.
Yeah. I call it the subscription key.
Yeah. There are some hidden modes. Because, like, if you see other teams saying it and other teams complaining that how come we are not able to do what Mercedes is doing, it means like there are modes that only Mercedes can activate. Others cannot activate it.
Bro, I'm telling you.
It is not in the manual.
I'm telling you, 2015, Grosjean, when he got that mode, he was like, yo, this guy's even driving different. Just from the PU.
What am I in?
Then Mercedes, after they took the fight to Vettel, Mercedes told them, yo, never use that mode again. And then Will Smith did his thing. And the rest is history.
Kimi and George this year. How do you see it going down? Do you see a repeat of Lando and Oscar last year with Kimi and George?
Them
because
fighting.
we know for a fact Kimi is biologically Toto's son.
No, Kimi will be put into his place by Russell.
I know we are an entertainment show, but that's a stretch.
Si ni ukweli? You know, I'm trying to see.
Kimi will
when
be
it
put
comes
in
to
his
favoring
place
the
by
driver.
Russell.
So you think Russell is?
Russell is going to fight it out on the track.
Unajua Russell contract ni kuisha inaisha. Akona 1+1.
Russell doesn't care about contract. He cares about winning on track. If you win, everything else will set itself. You don't. When you're performing, you don't have to worry about such things.
Last year we saw a situation whereby Lando was favored, and we all saw it happen in real time. When Lando was being favored, ilifika pali, you're calling it the subscription key. Ilifika mahali Oscar Piastri alinyimwa access. You know that can meme of Williams anaenda ku access training facilities, then his card is not working. It's not working. So that's what happened to Oscar Piastri last year. Now this year we're going to see a situation whereby if Kimi is in contention of winning a championship, na wako na George uko mbele, are we seeing a situation whereby Mercedes are going to be like siding with Kimi kidogo, because Kimi is their future?
So what
George
they did in 2014, it was, first of all, they let the drivers fight. If you cause any crash, you are paying it with your own money. You're paying it with your own nini. And if you prove you cannot race responsibly, team orders will apply. And whatever the team order will apply, don't come complaining. You are given a chance to fight. But you cross that line, the team orders you're going to give, you have to respect them. That's how Mercedes are doing it.
What about in the ground effect era between Lewis and George?
I don't know. That is for when they were winning the championship, when they were fighting with Rosberg.
See, ground effect walisema Hamilton ati alikuanga na he was testing the car.
No, that's the cult. I'm saying from the team's perspective. I think they let them race, yeah? I don't recall a particular point in time where team orders
they let them race. But sasa for with Rosberg there were caveats. If you crash, there will be consequences.
There will be consequences.
Yeah. Now, and according to Rosberg, the most painful thing is not even about the team order; it's paying for the damage.
It's kind of pricey, of course.
It's more than what FIA fines them by far.
Okay.
Like the crash of 2016 in Spain, they paid for that damage, both Hamilton and Rosberg.
So Antonelli, yes, people. First of all, this is his second year in Formula One. Last year, he made a couple of mistakes. This year, the first two races, did he make any mistake at Melbourne? Yes, he crashed.
The whole weekend was sprint race.
The Mercedes engineers they did a
sprint race. He crashed into Hajar and he finished. Was it P4 or something in the sprint race or P5? If he actually finished between the sprint race, he would be, I think, 2 points or 1 point from George in the championship. Now, the place where Antonelli needs to, I think he needs to beat George is when it comes to consistency. We've always called George Mr. Consistency. Look at the ground effect era. He never won anything. He never won anything because the car was the quickest, as in throughout that era. But George was hella consistent.
Picking up the pieces. He was hella consistent. And that is where George thrives. I think Antonelli, when Antonelli just locks in, as in he already has one win. His first win. From what I've seen so far, he has better tire management than George. Granted, yes, George
suffered a little bit
Had to fight.
fighting with the Ferraris. But I didn't see George throwing that car into turn one. I just saw George just waiting behind, picking the pieces when people had less energy. So I think Antonelli has an upper hand when it comes to tire management. But when he gets rid of these two silly mistakes, even Haja called him out. Like, bro, you have a rocket ship. Why are you sending that car into people? Yeah.
It's like someone eating from your plate na plate yake imejaa.
Yeah, as in, come on, you already have a rocket ship. Just chill, bana. It's yours. Tulia. Yeah. So he can actually take the fight to George.
Now, looking at that car advantage, do we call it an advantage or do we call it they understood the assignment? Tumezoea kuwaita Starre Boys, and now they're actually living up to their name because they actually outsmarted everybody when it came to developing these things. Now, it's actually interesting seeing they did all that and some of their customer teams are having trouble. I'm talking about the defending champions because, like, look at the last race. Both cars did not even start.
There are claims that who is the team principal of McLaren?
Zach Brown.
Not Zach Brown. The technical
Andrea Stella.
Andrea Stella. It's saying that the manual they got from Mercedes is missing a few pages.
They're calling it information lag.
But they're now the understanding is supposed to be 100 pages, but maybe they have
They
like
only
30.
70. They have 70 pages. They have the setup, but they don't have the use.
Yeah. So basically, they are watching Mercedes, seeing what they are doing, and they say, see, we have the same engine. Let's go and try to do it. But they can't replicate what Mercedes is doing for some reason.
It's to put it in simpler terms, yeah. It's like everyone here has the same phone, yeah. But Mushiri, for some weird reason, has a better. He's taking better photos than us.
He's zooming
Now,
more than the rest.
Instead of admitting that maybe we are lacking somewhere, we are like, no, Mushiri's phone is better than ours. It's not. It's not, yeah. But I think the place where people are getting a little bit confused is it's easy to say that Mercedes is not giving McLaren, and to some degree Williams and Alpine, although Williams have their own overweight issue, it's easier to say that Mercedes are not giving McLaren everything that they need. But we know the power unit is one half of performance, but we also have the chassis side, which is the mechanical and the aerodynamic bit. Okay? Now, on the power unit side, I think there was a regulation, after 2016. And I think on the group, your WhatsApp, I shared a case where 2015 Mercedes didn't want Vettel to get into the podium. So they gave Lotus like a subscription key to unlock something on that Mercedes PU. And Lotus, they were nowhere 2015 until Spa, when it mattered. Then for some weird reason, Lotus became very competitive. Then after the race, Mercedes told them, don't use that mode again. So the rules were actually changed, and now every power unit supplier has to give not just the same part, but also software and other tools.
Yes.
But Mercedes is not obligated to give McLaren the secret sauce that is making Mercedes extract more from that PU.
Okay, so that is
So
like...
technically, they have the dumplings, but they don't have the soy sauce hapo kando.
They don't. And the soy sauce, from my honest analysis, or from my perspective, it's how the deployment and the regeneration strategy that Mercedes is using. Because that is custom to every team. In short, the deployment and regeneration, what I'm talking about is, if a driver has to, let's say, downshift to gear 1, not all drivers have to do that. Power units are different. There's a driver who can downshift to gear 1. There's a driver who can brake earlier. There's a driver who can brake later. There's a driver who's very good at rotating the car the corner, and maybe they need more acceleration out of that corner. So it's all different maps, and I think also to some degree it varies between driver and driver within a team.
Do they have the same gearbox, McLaren and Mercedes?
No, McLaren make their own
so it's really hard to copy paste exactly what Mercedes is doing if they have different.
I think that secret sauce is the deployment and regeneration strategy, but the power units are the same.
So it looks like this is an era whereby if you just don't get your power units correctly, you're cooked.
Yeah, it's a power unit era. And I wanted to add this last point when I was talking about the McLaren situation. So if they have the same power unit, where is McLaren losing performance to Mercedes. They are not as quick as Mercedes. However, on average, if you compare all the power unit manufacturers, Mercedes are, if you look at China specifically, they have the highest average top speed. We've known the McLaren car to be very draggy. And in this era where you have a near 50-50, I've added near so that you don't come.
I was correcting you.
We have a near 50-50 split. It means you need to spend the 50 from the energy, as in from the electrical side. You need to use it efficiently. So you need to have an efficient car down the streets. If you have a draggy car and if you have an overweight car, Red Bull, I'm talking to you, you are not using that energy efficiently when you're deploying it. So it's not just the deployment and regeneration strategy that McLaren maybe are not yet up to par to Mercedes, but also their car is draggy. Are they overweight? I don't know. I don't know how much.
So with a draggy car, you can't harvest as much.
No, you cannot. You are basically carrying more weight when you're accelerating forward, and that is when you're deploying energy.
Okay.
Now, with the technologies that are set in place, I'll let you go through. With the technologies that are being set in place, we can also see a lot of drivers complaining that, what are we doing here? What are we doing? This is not what we signed up for.
Oh, who is complaining?
We have Max Verstappen complaining. We've had Kwanza Max ndio amekuwa complain sana. We've had George Russell says, not George Russell, Lando Norris says something about it.
We've had Lewis complaining, but Lewis changed tune.
Not really a complaint, but
hey, after Bahrain testing and after Melbourne,
yeah,
hey, we can pull up receipts, man. But proceed.
I mean, I even uploaded it myself, but anyway, yeah.
Charles by the way has come out.
The Mario Kart things,
yes.
Yeah, and you begs the question. It would be remiss of me to not talk about this. Formula One as a sport have been really big on trying to bring racing close. And it seems every time they attempt to bring racing closer, the further apart it pulls.
I think in Formula One, it's natural when there's a new regulation set and there's a clear split between the top, the middle, and
it always happens.
It always happens, yeah. The close thing or the closeness, which I can say 2 races in, which I'm happy about, is we are seeing closer racing. We are seeing people chasing each other. Yes, there is the energy overtaking.
They're saying it's artificial.
It has always been artificial. In fact. The moment they introduced DRS, we won't get there. But I think that is something it's a rule that applies to everyone, and it's something that every driver has to master. Yeah. But 2 races in, as much as Red Bull, we are in the trenches. I'm embracing it, and I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. But the bit which I'm not happy with, and I think this is something which Max and also Charles are vocal about, is as a driver, if you try to do anything spectacular, you get punished.
Spectacular, like?
Let's say during quali. Yeah? You try, let's say, brake latest. Oh my God, you're harvesting less energy. And if you see the people who are complaining the most, these are the people who've been the best when it comes to qualifying.
Leclerc.
Or when it comes to driving the car at the edge.
To the air.
Leclerc.
Now, Max, I don't think Max is criticizing the entire regulation in terms of the car dynamics or the driving dynamics. The aerodynamic side. He's criticizing the power unit side.
Yeah.
Because if you have a 50-50 split, if you make a mistake somewhere and you are down on your battery, my G, you're driving that car at 530 horsepower, while other people have 470 horsepower that they can play with. So it's not rewarding the driver, the driver is not getting the most out of the car when he's trying to push that car to the limit, because they will always be constrained by that near 50-50 split. And that's why qualifying, people are like, don't even bother watching the onboards. Because you see a car on the straight, and then you hear the revs are going down, and then you see the driver downshifting. You're like, what the hell is going? Is he quitting the lap? Is the hot lap still on?
Abandoning.
Yeah, is he abandoning the lap? As in,
there is something you've said.
That's the new normal.
And we have to double down on whatever you say, because whatever you said is exactly what Formula One was about. There are some drivers when they are just skilled. They are big on driving it to the limit, driving it on the edge. And drivers who excelled at this, call back to guys like Senna, these top guys who, Fear is just another that adrenaline rush. And like you said, these cars, you need to harvest that car energy. So the late breakers. And Formula 1 is a sport of the late breakers. Now, that is not getting out of the window.
Ricardo will never survive. I'm sorry I'm throwing Ricardo on the bus. Sorry, Mushi. But he'd never survive here.
Hey, Ricardo
But it's been a minute since I
he's
gave
an
that
ambassador
Ricardo laugh.
of Ford.
He'd never survive here, man. This set is brutal. You have to break early.
Like,
G.
that's what I'm saying. Like, these regs, the FIA, these are not it. These are not it. And I know they are still on that commission for 2030, net zero carbon. That's why they brought this near 50-50 thing.
That near 50-50 split, that's too aggressive. Okay? Just reduce the amount of the swing to the electrical side. Maybe 60-40 or something. Now, they can't change the capacity of the internal combustion engine, but I believe they can change maybe the fuel flow rate or something. But of course, that will require maybe, I don't know, maybe some additional time or to develop or something.
What about the limit of what you can harvest or deploy? Because there's a limit to it. Ama they're already hitting the limits.
So the battery capacity is still 4 megajoules.
Uh-huh.
They can, if they go higher than that, or if they increase the battery capacity, the cars are getting heavier.
Even if you have the capacity of 4 megajoules, you have the capability of harvesting more than 4 megajoules since you are depleting in the same lap.
You are confusing the battery capacity and how much you can recharge. So let's say I have this cap. Let's say it's 4 megajoules.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every lap I can fill this cap twice. To full capacity.
That is the limitation. You cannot fill it more than twice.
Yes. So if I increase this battery, the size, I'm increasing the weight of the car.
Now, what I'm saying is the 8 megajoules.
How many times I can fill the car?
Yes, because if you harvest more than 8 or deploy more than 8, you are capped. You can't deploy further. Let's say you have started with 4 megajoules. You go and break. Okay, maybe you use it going to the first nini. Maybe it goes back to 1. You charge it. You deplete it. You charge it. So what the regulations are looking at is how much can you charge. All those small charges, they should not pass 8.
Yes.
And all those small deployment should not pass 8. But if they removed that limit, it would mean that your aim is to have 4 megajoules at all times. Okay, mostly at all times, and being able to deploy it whenever.
But now you see,
possible.
we that will change even the driving dynamics itself. Are we going to see people doing aggressive harvesting? Because they know they can get rid of the 4 megajoules and look for another 4 megajoules in like 3 corners. So are we looking at more aggressive harvesting from clipping?
It depends now with which is faster. Because at the end of the day, I don't think it's the drivers who decide which is the best way. I think it is the computer and the simulation which go and do the math, and they come up and say, hey, at this turn you're supposed to lift, this turn you're supposed to brake at this nini. Like it will give you what you're supposed to do, and then you follow the instruction.
Okay, let's take your case. As of now, with the 8.5 limit and 8 limit, I think varying per track, they are still not able to drive that car flat out.
Okay, are they able to need more than 8 megajoules a lap
Right now?
Yeah. Of what they have harvested, or are they able to harvest more?
They would, but you see, that's a change that's going to disrupt the driving dynamics. Because I'm seeing if someone has the capacity to, let's say, regenerate, he can regenerate infinitely. They'll be busy much braking like all over the place, unnecessary.
Then somebody will pass you. Like
it's going to be, we're going to have like a rubber band race or something, if I can put it that way. The other proposal is to reduce the amount of power that can be put down by the MGUK from 350 kilowatts, which is around 470 horsepower, to let's say like 200 kilowatts. Make that the maximum. But the downside is the cars are going to be generally slower. But you see the 8.5 megajoules or the 8 megajoules, which they can recharge. slash use, that is going to be used longer. Because you have more energy, but the rate at which I can use this energy or convert it into power,
it's the one that is limited.
lower. So I can. But now the thing is, lap time, people are going to pay when it comes to lap time.
Either way, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it even to the least bit. Because the quali, especially for me, I don't have issues with the races. I have issues with quali. Because quali is where we see the drivers at their limit.
Yeah.
And now that has been taken away from us.
Yeah.
We can never see the drivers at their limit at quali.
Charles said, "Hey, Q1, Q2, I was just driving comfortable. I was not at the limit. And then Q3, I decided to do something special."
And
he paid the price.
bruh, kwanza was it Melbourne we are hearing later he had deployment issues with on Q3 and I was just like like Ferrari aren't depending on qualifications anymore this year.
How is it an advantage when by turn 1 you are leading and then you're finishing the race P3 P4?
Now the P3 P4 is coming about because
how is it an advantage?
It is an advantage because once we get our power unit to the Mercedes standards because they have set the benchmark. Once we get our PUs to that standard, now we have that start.
It's a gimmick.
But all this actually, the upturn is because of the WEC engineers. Pale WEC, let me just put it like this. WEC is the big brother to Formula 1. Nyi mkae mkijua hivyo.
So what do you think they brought? What was lacking that they brought?
Commitments, passion, Italian passion. The guys who are there walikuanga, one rotten apple spoils the bunch. I don't know if you get it. So walikuanga na that team of people who have been disappointed years and years and years. They haven't tasted success. Now we brought people who have done a three-peat. Pale Le Mans, 24 hours.
Have they added people to the team or have they replaced people?
Replaced. Not everybody. Just a couple of few technical guys. They've been replaced. I know the aerodynamics team imechangiwa sana. The engineering team specifically, the one that's dealing with the engines, not many people have been touched. But when it comes to the aerodynamic people, the aerodynamic team imechangiwa sana.
It's not Hamilton.
His DNA is inside that car.
See, you guys, I told you about Hamilton.
No. Don't say Hamilton and
his race engineers. He told you guys last year, Mkanza, don't blame it on him again. Don't blame it on him again. See, he left.
So, okay, now that's what I'm asking. Has Hamilton got to do with anything to do with how the car is performing? Yeah.
No. Huh? No, not really. Not really. I don't explicitly say
that his DNA is there. He said his DNA is there.
Focus on Leclerc.
So are you calling Hamilton a liar?
No, but it could be true because of course they have to gather data from their drivers. They have to gather data from the drivers.
Give him credit. Give him credit then. Acha unaongea story ya WEC guys nini.
WEC, the guys from WEC. Credit is going to those people. They've changed that team, transformed that team.
Hamilton said that rear axle it's going to open a legality box here where we can.
Anyway, and Hamilton was checking at the back of Mercedes.
He had a caliper. Hey, we can push this thing 50 millimeters behind.
And he checked all cars. Even he checked the Red Bull.
He's moving like Prime 7. But that is what Ferrari does to these top drivers. It gets to a point. Now we are seeing Inspector Hamilton phase because we also had an Inspector Vettel phase whereby he believes he can win the championship. The hope is not all gone. The hope is still there, kidogo, glimmer of hope. So now you're trying to tell the team how to do this.
Do you have number 1 and number 2 driver?
We've never had that. Okay. We don't do that.
So it's time.
No, we don't do that here.
And the battle in China, Hamilton came on top.
You remember last year when I was telling you?
Hamilton came on top. Usilenke.
Sikatai. But you remember last year when I was telling you guys, when I know my team is good, is when both drivers are now performing at a certain level together.
Now, why the hell are the Ferrari drivers fighting for the last place on the podium when they have George behind? Why can't they play teammates
now
and frustrate this guy?
That is just
ego.
Ego.
They have nothing to lose. They are a number 2 by a long shot. They have nothing to lose.
No, this is
McLaren was not even in the race at China. They had nothing to lose.
He's talking from a strategic point of view to get points.
They kept George.
It makes sense.
They kept George behind for almost 13 laps until they decided to fight each other.
He's talking from a strategic point of view. Ferrari could have gathered more points in China if they didn't.
No, they couldn't.
Yeah,
they could.
They couldn't. If we decided to,
they couldn't.
But
before they started fighting each other, they were keeping Antonelli and George honest. When they decided to fight each other, they were losing 2 seconds. 2 seconds a lap to Antonelli.
They couldn't. Mercedes is just too fast.
They could. Put strategy in play. If Red Bull was in the same situation, Red Bull would have done their best to come out to the double podium.
You know.
Yes, but the results ingekuwa to the same.
This is a situation
of Mercedes.
It's a game of probability.
Relax. This is a situation.
If they held George behind for 13 laps.
When it only happens sana when you have a number 1 and number 2 driver, and that's why I'm always adamant here telling you guys, as we don't have a number 1 and number 2 drivers, our drivers are allowed to race each other. Kwani mmesahau Monza, Leclerc and Sainz, when Sainz was hey, please, I need my win.
I was livid on Sunday watching that race. I was like, what the hell is Hamilton? What are they doing?
You don't know Hamilton.
Because I trust the package that is coming in Miami. Mutati.
Now this is okay. This is the problem with Ferrari fans.
What?
They are equipped right now with the second best car. They don't want to get the best out of it. To them their best is P3, P4. I am telling you 100%. If Red Bull was in the same situation.
I have a question.
If Red Bull was in the same situation, there's absolutely no way they'd say, let them fight each other until we had fun battling each other. As in, everyone is racing each other, yeah? And they're just letting George and Antonelli go away.
But that was...
they had track position. They couldn't play that to their advantage.
That was ile kitu yenye tunaongeanga na Mushiri, ile ya jua mnyonge wako. Yani that one was Leclerc and Hamilton needed to know. You know, sometimes you just have to let brothers fight so that they know who is actually.
Okay, let me tell you from the perspective of Hamilton.
How did George make the double overtake on both Hamilton and Charles?
Kwanza for Charles, I think Charles even didn't have a battery.
It was purely energy, not even tires. Purely energy.
But okay, let me tell you from the perspective of Hamilton. Me, I've watched Hamilton for a while.
Fun. It was a fun battle.
Listen,
we'll clip this as a
Hamilton.
As a Dan,
Hamilton. This is Hamilton's thinking. His aim is securing P3 at the moment. Like you might come up with strategy, but deep down he knows
I need that podium.
Let me finish. I'm fighting for that P3. Then, when it comes to Charles, having P3 it means beating Charles, and he has to start beating Charles as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because when you go down the knee, he will need that priority. Yeah. So as much as they are playing joking with each other, Hamilton just wants to be ahead in points of Charles, and then he'll play a certain card later in the season.
But you see,
now what card is it? Give us a spoiler. What card is
Give me preference. I'm leading in championship points.
So you're saying Hamilton wants to be the number 1 driver down the road. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes, and and his strategy, his race management and everything, it's not with the Mercedes. It is with Charles. Yeah.
What do you think of that take?
There's a contradiction there.
Which one?
I can't remember which year specifically, but there's a year where Hamilton said if he's not fighting for the championship, then all these other positions they don't mean as much.
This is 2022.
I think so, somewhere there. Yeah.
So okay.
Hamilton, if Ferrari said, okay, Charles, let Hamilton go. Let Hamilton chase Antonelli. I'm 100% sure. Hamilton would not say, that guy, apana, he's too. At some point, Hamilton was like, I need more power. As in, Hamilton wants to take the fights to Antonelli. Charles wants to take the fights to Hamilton. What the? And Ferrari are letting them. Mazai was leaving. I was like, what the hell are these people doing?
I was waiting for a crash.
Listen.
No, I was not. I don't want to see Mercedes go unchallenged.
Do you think
Ferrari don't put your hopes on Macarena wing? You guys already have, and that's why I'll continue saying this.
You are going to fall for that trick.
And that is why
Ferrari trick.
And that is why
you get heartbroken just like Ferrari peeps.
Listen,
at the end of the season.
No. I won't get there. And this is why I will die on this hill. That small turbo thing, that quick start thing, that is a gimmick. It's not an advantage. You cannot be the first one leading lap 1 or into turn 1. And you are not converting that into a win. That's a gimmick. It's not an advantage.
But when you look at it, you can't convert. Okay, because this is a marathon, not a sprint. Remember that in Formula 1, we are talking 60 something laps. You can't you get an advantage. Yes. Wait. I'm thinking about it like this. What happens if you get pole position and you still have the quick start advantage? You're building a gap.
Nothing. Results. Bro. Results. Mercedes 1-2.
Here's the thing.
Mercedes 1-2.
Look at Melbourne. Let's take Melbourne case study.
Yeah.
The first safety car. So I think it was VSC or something. What happened in the first one? Forgotten.
Where? In
Melbourne. Yes, when Haja pulled
Retired.
over. Yeah? That was, I think, lap 11. That was the wrong, in my opinion, that was the wrong time for Ferrari to go into the pits. That was too early. George had to go to the pits because he had a huge lockup.
I thought Ferraris didn't go to the pit.
They did not.
Yeah, they didn't.
The second safety car, now that is why I'm calling Ferrari out. Even Hamilton was like, yo, we could have made use. Remember when I think it was Bottas who was stuck on the pit entry? Ferrari could have pitted, split strategy. But they did not. They decided to stay out.
You have been beaten by the Ferrari bag. You're starting to care about Ferrari.
No, he hates Mercedes.
I hate Mercedes.
You know, the enemy of your enemy is your
my friend. Yes.
That's a situation.
Either way, if you find yourself watching the race and cheering for Ferrari, you just know kuna kiboko inakugoja.
I'm also looking out for this guy. and the other Tifosi guys.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
In the last year's race, the watch along we had at K1, I sat with some Ferrari folks. These guys were dejected. Charles was making overtakes. They were not even celebrating. I was like, then what are you guys? Are you just warming the seats or something or what? This is what Ferrari.
We'll revisit this conversation at the end of the season.
This is what Ferrari is.
In tears.
But for real, this is what Ferrari. This is what the fans are going to end up being again at the end of the year. You guys need to demand better. Hamilton is already calling out to the team like, yo, we could have pitted.
Now, but I expect that from Hamilton. He's a seven-time world champion.
I'm worried you're starting to care.
I know Charles has been taken through that emotional roller coaster. I understand him.
The second,
but with Hamilton, I expect that from him because that's why we brought him. That's why we brought him. We brought him to shape up and ship out.
When you start caring about Ferrari,
and this is going to be the opportunity where if McLaren get their shit in order, if the RB22 loses weight, yeah. Then they're going to take the fight to Ferrari. Instead of Ferrari bouncing on this opportunity where no one is closer to them, they can take the fight to Mercedes. Then they're okay with being P3 and P4. As in, in the grand scheme of things, Ferrari is in a better position to fight for wins. They're going to end this year without a win if they continue like this.
Ramen, wacha tu nikwambie sahi. Stop caring about Ferrari because it will end up hurting you even more. Yeah.
And
we'll revisit this conversation.
Yeah, that was a long rant.
You'll revisit this conversation while you're in tears and wondering why you're supporting Ferrari.
Done. Hamilton is going to push the team to take the fight to Mercedes. But Charles is not going to jump on board. Charles is going to try and prove a point that I'm the number one Ferrari driver. And that is going to cost Ferrari a double podium at Suzuka. I'm calling it here.
That's a take I actually see. And knowing who Charles is, and having seen Charles for 7 years now. He's been at Ferrari for 7 years. Now, having seen him that long, I believe that's what's going to happen. Because I'm not saying he pushed out Vettel, but he outperformed Vettel. He's been outperforming Carlos Sainz. And last year, he wiped the floor with Lewis. I believe he feels like he has a point to prove. And everybody knows, and I know he knows this. Everybody knows. Charles knows, everybody knows, he is better than George Russell and Lando Norris. And the fact that these drivers are having a stab at the title, I think it kind of messes with him to some degree, to a point where he will have to try and prove a point. He can't see things objectively. Maybe he can, I don't know. But he is fixated on trying to get that championship kwanza.
China, Hamilton drew the first blood. And I'm saying Hamilton is concentrating on that P3. And he's fighting Charles. That is in the wall, his wall of people he's targeting. Charles is there. Yes, and anajua come as the season progresses, he's going to use it to rally the team to back him up.
Do you think he can pick Charles off in terms of racing now that they have equal machinery, equal power, development is at ground zero?
He has a chance.
Do you think he's going to? Because
it's
really hard to pick off Charles.
It depends. If Charles knows he has a target on his back, he can switch the things. But if Charles thinks that we are teammates, nini, atashanga.
I hope he doesn't complain about turn 14 for radio. And I was like, okay.
But on Red Bull side, I've had mixed reports. Max has said the car has a problem. But it's not... The problem does not it's not attributed to the power unit 100%. The power unit takes a small portion, but the other portion is now the chassis, the mechanical side of things. And if you look at if you look at the speed trace, for example, the Red Bull actually is hitting those top speeds with the Mercedes. The place where we are losing the most amount of time is through the corners.
Yeah. I remember him saying that, and he said just because of that, you're not able to execute the rest of the areas.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, if you're struggling to stop, you're struggling to harvest.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling to get out of the corner, it means you're struggling to have a higher top speed at the right moment. Okay, you can get the top speed at almost at the end of the street. That doesn't help you. But if you get it earlier, it's better for you.
Yes.
Because you have a higher chance
all
of
the things are interconnected. So if you look at Red Bull with our unusual tire graining and tire deg, it's because that guy is sliding too much around the corners. So there's the car could use more downforce. Okay. But the biggest, I think the biggest or the quickest benefit that we can get is when that car loses weight. Now, this hasn't been confirmed that the Red Bull car is overweight. And when I say confirmed, no one at Red Bull has come out and said it.
I know where I saw it. You know where I saw it? You see the weighing of the car, where they take out the fuel and nini. There was a paparazzi. So the weight.
And actually on the Red Bull website, when you see the chassis weight, they just say the minimum. They don't say the actual weight. When you look at Mercedes, you look at Ferrari, they actually declare the weight.
So that thing of Red Bull being overweight, somebody zoomed in on the scale.
That car is overweight.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
So mnafikiria, let me just ask it plainly, the plain question. You guys think once you fix your weight issue, you guys are actually going to be in a situation where you can actually perform?
And the start.
The start also.
It's horrible to watch that Max on board.
So so there's the weight issue, and going again back to what Max said, how the car is behaving around the corners, and this is not. First of all, we've known the Red Bull car to be very competitive when it comes to high speed and medium speed corners. Yeah, but in this case, that car is also understeering or not rotating as expected on the slow corners. That's mechanical grip, and mechanical can either be that can be the suspension. Now I don't know how difficult it is to like try and set up that car, the suspension side of things, like to have less understeer through the corners. It could be maybe a setup thing, and also borrowing from what I think was the team principal, Mikes. He said they tried many things on the suspension side, but they just could not get that car to rotate properly. So maybe there could be a fundamental problem with the suspension of the RB22.
What about the motor characteristics?
The what? Sorry?
The motor characteristics, how it behaves. Well, you remember like in Quali Melbourne, turn one, he locked up. That is, I believe it was, they were aiming for harvesting of energy, but maybe the guy tuning it turned it to 11 such that it locked up the tires.
We can always say we can't speculate. Again, it's not just Max who had the problem. Even Piastri, remember, he lost his car. That's
what I'm saying. The motor characteristics. How does the car behave when you brake? How does the car behave when you trail brake? Because the braking is supposed to harvest the energy at the same time as the driver. You expect it to behave in a certain way. So it's about tuning the car how it should behave when stopping and also when taking the corner, while at the same time trying to harvest the energy in the maximum way possible. So trying to find that balance can be a bit tricky. And you need a lot of testing.
I don't think you need a lot of testing. That can be fixed. If it's software, those are just parameters that you can tweak. But when it's something fundamental, either aerodynamics, or there's just something about the power unit, or the suspension side of thing, which is the mechanical bit, I don't think that is something that can be tweaked.
Unaona hiyo culture research yenye inaendelea Red Bull. There is, I'm sorry to say, I think there is a drop in performance somewhere in terms of how mna run things. I think Red Bull ilikuanga that very strict institution whereby you had to behave a certain way. Now I'm not saying Lauren Mikies and the guys who have come into leadership sahi wako na like laxity in performance ati ama they're not trying to do whatever they're trying to do to properly. I know they're doing their jobs, but I believe Red Bull with the strict regime that they had people on their toes.
And now you're saying it's different now?
Yeah, I actually feel kuna laxity in performance. I also compound that with the fact that you guys are now getting into uncharted territory in making your own powertrains.
Yeah.
I'd say that is...
Yeah, hata mimi nasema that is the reason.
That's my take.
But in terms of nasema laxity, in terms of strict, I don't think it's
I don't think so, yeah.
I don't think
we are still as... just because my boy, CH... He's no longer running that place like a military camp. You can't say that the reason why we're in the trenches right now is because of that. Remember again, Haja put that car into P3 qualifying.
Like the Ferrari okay, it is P3. And Haja doesn't have issues with the start. How is that possible? You wouldn't be saying that if Melbourne was not a stinker for us.
Yeah,
China has always been a stinker for Max.
Nah, but what are we talking about here? We are talking about how you guys have started the season. Looking at how you guys left last season, because last season you guys were on a recovery run. Mulikuwa on some comeback voodoo stuff.
Last season tulianza hivyo tu.
So again, back to Mushuri's.
No, last season mlianza vizuri, then the dip started mid-season.
No, hatukuanza
dip ilianza mid-season. Don't come here and lie like last season you didn't take the first few races. Where?
When
Max won his first race in Japan.
China. Ilikuwa Japan ama ilikuwa China?
And then the next one, we were like nowhere.
Yeah, and then
you know what?
McLaren had it locked.
No. You know what? You guys can make all the excuses you want to make, Sai. But one of those two reasons, the ones I'm giving you. Okay, that's my opinion. I know you guys are agreeing with the latter reason. But those are the two reasons I feel.
To Mushiri's point, the guys who are part of the team in last year's resurgence, taking the fight to McLaren, the guys who are still there.
Yeah. If you're going to criticize them now, criticize them even what they did last year.
Adrian Newey stopped contributing actively to Red Bull cars after 2023. Tutakuwa hapa tukievaluate 21 out of 20.
Suzuka guys, what do you think? Other than like Mercedes,
Red Bull, we are going to suffer.
Oh, I thought you were going to positively talk about your team.
No, we are going to suffer.
I don't know why.
Our car is really bad through the corners.
When I look at Max, if Max just didn't have that horrible start, he should have been the driver after Charles.
Yeah, because the McLarens are nowhere in the picture.
Yeah. Okay, and he also retired. But if they nail the stats, at least watakuwa natoka na some good points. And manze reliability. Haja retired in Australia, Max retired in China, as in only one car has been finishing. At least manze zote they should be finishing.
Yeah, they should, but I'm already saying it. We are going to have a... Suzuka is going to be bad.
At least, can we hope to finish both cars? Is that too much to ask? They should at least sort out that reliability.
Because Suzuka is a bit power sensitive. By power sensitive, I mean there's some sections where you are full throttle. And if you couple that with how energy starved these cars are, and Max trying to find time through the corners, and you know how this car behaves through the corners, and it's overweight. Unless they drive it slowly, and not take the fight to later like Ferrari, and of course not to Mercedes, we might get that P5, P6. But then again, McLaren might turn up and they are ready for action. That's if Toto gives them the subscription key. So, P6, P7, P8.
I just remembered something that you said about harvesting while stationary. Like, if you have this sort of, let's say, this traction control, it means you can go at the SS in Suzuka full throttle. Like your foot is pinned down. Whatever is not going to the tires is going to the battery.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. But remember, these cars, they have less downforce. So those S's, we are going to see maybe some lifting happening.
On the S's?
Yes. The cars have less downforce, yeah.
Isn't there a single lift? Is it? Okay. Of course, there's a turn one. And when you're done with turn one, you start accelerating. There's one more place you let go of the throttle before
at the end of the S's, yes.
At the end of the S's. So you're saying that's where they're going to let go of more?
No, throughout the S's.
Throughout the S's?
Yes. These cars have less downforce.
So they'll be clipping, they'll be charging a lift off at the S's. Where else are they not supposed to?
They can do both.
They can do both?
Yes. Like or either. They can do either, sorry. They can either try and go flat out that if you have enough downforce and rely on super clipping, or you can find places within the S where you can
you guys
maybe brake. But now I'm seeing the super clipping, maybe that could be what could be.
This is exactly what the FIA had in mind when they were thinking of these regs. Because remember when they were advertising the regs, they were talking about drivers will now have to re-strategize how they race. And the clipping stuff and the harvesting venye mnaiongelelea.
They've killed qualifying, man.
But yeah, the quali is dead.
Quali is dead. Anyway, so quickly, predictions. Let us wrap up for top 3. Just give us predictions, your top 3.
Oh, Suzuka.
For Suzuka, yeah.
Same as it was in China.
Same as it was in China.
Yeah.
You see a double Mercedes podium, then a Ferrari third Ferrari.
Yes.
What about you?
I'm seeing a George, Hamilton, Russell.
In that order?
Yes.
Okay. Driver team and
George, Hamilton, and Russell.
Antonelli, Hamilton, Russell.
So a Ferrari to split the Mercedes.
Yes.
Well,
I have faith in
I see.
He'll be in tears at the end of the year. He'll be crying like every other
in Mercedes, in Ferrari.
I see a Leclerc win, a George P2, and a Hamilton third.
A double podium.
Charles.
Yeah, Charles.
Win. Yeah. Suzuka.
Yeah.
A Ferrari is not winning before Max.
Okay. The double that has just passed. Your driver team in Melon of the car double that has just passed.
The 2 races. So it's only that Kimi won, of course, for China, but for Melbourne, I'll give it to Russell. Actually, those are just the winners. I'm just giving it to the winners. And Mercedes at large and I told you the other time when you asked me about how I feel about Mercedes, and I said jealousy is I'm seeing people do what we used to do, but they're doing it way better. So kudos to them, kudos to Mercedes.
Yes, he was compromised. How about you?
Team Alpine, team of the 2 Grand Prix, Melon, Ferrari.
The driver,
Gasly.
Mama kukufa na gas.
Yeah, that's my dark horse. My pink dark horse.
Team, personally, I am torn between Audi, Alpine, and Mercedes. Now, Mercedes because they came out swinging
with an illegal car.
Yeah, Alpine, I know they're beneficiaries of the Mercedes engine. That's why they're performing the way they're performing. Now, Audi, I think Audi edges it out for me because Audi own PUs, own regs. They changed the stuff back there.
Why not Red Bull?
And they were dead last year. Pale kick Sauber ilikuwa mbaya. It was bad. Yeah. Na this year, I mean, they got a point finish with Bortoleto in Melbourne, if I'm not wrong. So these guys are looking okay. And Melon, Melon, I'll give it to Red Bull because Red Bull.
Why?
Well, this year walikuja. I don't know what car they.
It's a new power unit.
It's torn between Red Bull and McLaren. These 2 teams, I don't know what's going on with them. McLaren IPS 0 points.
McLaren are hostages to Schrödinger.
Yeah, so torn between those 2. But my driver, I'll actually give it to Gasly and Behrman. Behrman has also
those guys have been fighting.
Behrman is keeping Ocon honest.
I'm seeing Behrman, Ocon, Behrman, Gasly, and Max fighting each other.
Hey, bro, the mighty are fallen. We're in the trenches. Bro, when it gets to a point where Japanese is calling you out. Ocon, you need to do something.
Hey, and we can't wait to see that livery has ya Godzilla. So, they're coming with the Godzilla inspired.
No one cares, man.
Max was asked for
I care. What
expectation
do you
for
mean
the
no one
race
cares?
is just finishing ahead of Gasly. Like that was his goal in China.
Nimbaya.
Bro, it's bad.
Nimbaya.
You're in the trenches. Embrace it.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm embracing it. Like I'm in it. I'm seeing what is happening.
Acceptance.
I know how. I like
5 stages of grief. So you acceptance.
Mimi.
We should accept.
I've accepted. I'm actually. When people are saying that they are happy that we're not going to have the Arabian races because it's a chance for Mercedes to pull away. I think we should have had those races to get more data.
No, we don't.
We needed those data.
Red Bull has already said they already know, like what's going on, and Mikes has said this can break. They're going back to Milton Keynes and they're going to re-strategize.
You can never have enough data. That's what I know.
But they already know like what's the problem. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is an opportunity where Mercedes cannot use the advantage to get more points over Ferrari. You guys.
Anyway, and with that, we come to today's end of a show. One hell of a show it has been. It's been a Mercedes show, actually. This has been a Mercedes show. And
they've been complaining we don't talk about them.
yeah, we've given you a whole 2-hour episode. Muskize. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Mercedes, to the fans, make sure K1 Clubhouse, the watch party, tunakuanga pale. Come and give us your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, share it all over. I've been your host, Ace the Trouble Man himself. Twice as nice, smooth as ice. Never had a bad day in my life. To my left,
Mushiri.
Mushiri.
Done.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.